So, Shravana, a lot of people relate this nakshatra to the Vishnu. South Indians usually call this as the star of Venkateshwara, Lord Venkateshwara. As I always keep saying, when nakshatras get associated to deities like Rama for Punarvasu, Shravana for the Venkateshwara, okay, don't be overwhelmed that everything is going to be very good in this. There is no star of the all 27 that can give you just good, or there is no star in all the 27 that can deliver you just bad. Okay. So each nakshatra has its own fair share of good and bad. So how we make use of the nakshatra significations for the progress of the person, either monetarily or spiritually, that is going to help. All right. With that introduction, let me get into Shravana. So Shravana is the Shravana would mean that somebody who is listening. So this nakshatra is focused more on listening. So one has to be a good listener first thing for him to be successful in case of a Shravana. So anybody who has a Shravana star and a poor listener, they're automatically destined not to be successful. Okay. So how do we check that in the first place? Is that we always look at the Lagna cusp and then the Lagna Lord, and then most importantly the Lagna dispositor. Just not merely be based on the moon or the Janma Nakshatra, but always look at these cusps. All right. So the learning ear. So as we hear more, there is good chance of actually understanding more. So this nakshatra is focused on hearing and understanding. And this also relates to the avatars of Vishnu, of which one of the avatars is the Vamana. So Vamana is a dwarf man who came limping a little bit because he has a big tummy and he walked up to the Raja Bali. So this man was little limping. So Shrona would mean limping person, which we would eventually find it in the mantra. And Shravana would mean somebody who is ought to hear everything, and then based on which somebody has to take a decision. So if somebody is facing financial issues or career issues, or if they think they're stuck at some place, it means that they are not hearing well. It, especially the ones that have more experience than this native. So, what we would recommend it to such a person, we would tell him, please recall, did anybody give you an advice which you have not taken? Okay, please follow that advice, and then everything would be all right. All right. So let's see. The major point here is in the Capricorn, right? Shravana falls in the Capricorn. We talked about the so what is that? Uttarashadha last week, where we said the war started. Okay, the war started. Recently, we had Dashara, right? Dashara also eventually would be like, falling in the same star. Like you have either the Uttarashadha or the Shravan. On the day of Vijayadashmi, you would have this Uttarashadha because it's the star of winning. Okay. So, what I meant to say was the Uttarashadha, the Shravana, and the uh, Dhanishta. These three stars are falling in the Capricorn, and you would see that the Jupiter debilitates in the Capricorn. So there would be stories around wherein the guru's advice is not being taken, or the guru's or the most experienced people's advice is not being taken, and the person is actually experiencing a downfall. If the person is taking up the advice of good people, learned people, experienced people, he is going to see a rise. That is how, I mean, simply, if you want me to describe this whole Capricorn in one line, that is what it would be. Okay. So Vamana, the Vishnu. is one of the deities here. The major deity is the Vamana. Okay, and then we also have the Vishnu as himself, who came down during the Gajendra Moksha. Okay, so that is another one. Vamana actually expanded into Trivikrama when the Mahabali agreed to give him the 3 foot area. Vamana expanded himself, and when the expanded form came in, it's called as the Trivikrama. Okay, and we also have Saraswati, the one who is the god who is responsible for listening and learning. Okay, let's look at the mantra. Vishnoh Sronah Pruchamanah Parastat Pantha Avastha. It's a very simple Sanskrit. Most people would understand it right away. However, we would talk about the mantra in about a couple of minutes. Let's look at the deity. The nakshatra deity is Vishnu or the Vamana actually. And then we also have Saraswati, the goddess of learning. We have 3 footsteps, and just give me a second. Okay, we have the 3 footsteps, the arrow, and a female monkey. Okay, these are the symbols, and the ear. So you can see the symbol here: ear, 3 footsteps, and an arrow. So what would the ear symbolize is it emphasizes the importance of hearing, as I just said, or listening. Okay, so somebody who wants to listen. Usually, what happens in this star is he's a very good listener. Okay, 99% of the times, unless there is huge afflictions coming out from the eighth lord, um, or maybe sixth lord, eighth lord, 12th lord, everything combines here. And then, there is also uh, more combinations that would say about the Navamsha. I'll teach you a little bit. I do not want to confuse you right now. Okay, so a few combinations can show from the Arudha Lagna as well how the person is perceiving the world, and how headstrong he is in case of listening and stuff like that. So we can look at it from there as well. So 99% of the times the person is a good listener. So if there is a downfall in case of the Shravana, it means that he is not hearing well. Okay, the advantage with hearing is somebody tries to hear something, then he has, some understanding or a viewpoint of an experienced person. And the nakshatra is based on the viewpoints, not one. There are different viewpoints being collected, because when the Rakshasas took over the reins from the Suras, the Indra and the other Devatas, the Indra and the other Devatas ran up to Vishnu. You look at any of the stories of the Rama or anyone, when when Ravana was doing all havoc across, then Indradi Devatas went up to Vishnu. Okay, this is the usual thing. Whenever something wrong happens from a Rakshasa, all the Suras are going to tie up and then reach Vishnu. This is what we talked about even in the last star, which is Uttarashadha, because Uttarashadha is a collection of all the deities. When all of them unite together, he becomes the Parabrahma. Okay, so now that is Shravana. So Shravana is a composition of all the stars. All the 27 stars are all united here, and the deity is Vishnu or the Venkateshwara. So what happens usually as an advice to people is, if you're struggling in life, usually what people give as a remedy in whole of South India is just visit the Balaji temple and come back. That is what an usually remedy given, because all the 27 nakshatras is inside him. Okay, that's a simple remedy. Then we have the 3 footprints. So as we talk about the katha or the story of Bali and King Bali and Vamana, everybody knows this story. If you do not know this story, please Google out Vamana and King Bali. It is available even in the Wikipedia. Have an understanding of it. So I'm not describing it here very much. However, the understanding is the Vamana came up to King Bali and he requested for 3 foots of land. And eventually, Vamana kept growing, And you can see that as he was growing, he was called as Trivikrama. So the Bali ultimately had to go into the Patala Loka. That is where the whole story ends. So there are a couple of things which we have to understand here. When Vamana walked up to King Bali, Bali's guru was Sukracharya. Sukracharya clearly told Bali, please do not donate anything to this man who is walking up to you. I am your guru. Please do not give him anything. This is what is the advice received by Bali, King Bali. When this advice was received, Bali said, no, I cannot hear to what you are saying, Mr. Guru, because if the person who is walking up to me is Vishnu, then I am there to give him everything. Besides that, I have completed a yajna, and when into the yajna vatika, people come up and ask for donations. I cannot deny them. I have to pay whatever the Brahmana is asking, because this is a Yajna Vatika. This is the same thing which, as a guru, the Shukracharya himself has told me. And now you are saying, please do not give. I cannot oblige. I would have to give whatever this man who came in a Brahmana's disguise, I have to pay him. This is what Bali said. Because Bali did not hear to Sukracharya, Guru debilitated there. Because Guru expects that his disciples have to listen to the Guru. Okay. I think we talked about the story as well in the previous nakshatra. It's just the same thing. That is one. Second is what Mahabali thought is it's just a simple 3 foot of land. I have so much of land on the earth. Let me give what is there. He's a simple boy. So that would be nothing for me because the boy said he will measure it himself. He did not even ask me to measure. I have a 10-inch foot. The boy has got only a 4-inch foot. So that is pretty easy. When Vamana grew, he became a Trivikrama. So the other thing what we can understand from here is promising and not delivering. Okay, so do not try to promise too much. The problem with Shravana is they are actually overwhelmed with a lot of things because they are the Vishnu Rupas, right? So they are overwhelmed. So what they think is okay, something they would try to over promise things. So just be careful on that stuff. That is another one. So do not try to overpromise and say, I'm going to pay you so much after 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. No, it is not going to work like that. And that is going to actually give a karmic debt on you. Please don't do that. Final thing, the third one is the arrow. It means that they are focused on something. This is very good thing about Shravana. That is that they are focused on something and they're going to go like an arrow and they have very clear-cut understanding of what they are focused on and what they have to achieve in life. And they have a purposeful action and concentration in the pursuit of knowledge or spiritual goals, sometimes even material goals. Okay. The other thing which I forgot to tell you in the 3 foot print thing is a constant expansion of their own selves. So Shravana is very good in expanding whatever they have learned. So we have to be careful if somebody is a Shravana and indulges into alcohol consumption or any of the bad deeds like prostitution, drugs, or any of such things, they're only going to expand. Okay, they cannot easily come out of those things. All right. So the kind of nakshatra is Chara, movable. So what usually I see here is any connections to the first lord, wherein the first lord dispositor or the Lagna lord dispositor goes in here, or the Lagna's cusp goes in here. Most likely the person is staying away from the country in which he is born. So if an Indian is there, he would be living somewhere in the UK or in the US or elsewhere, but not in the country in which he's born or got educated. Um, Vishnu, the word Vishnu would mean expansion. Okay, expansion to an extent wherein there is no more space to move. Okay, all right. So the nickname here for this star is the learning ear, the lame person, the person who's limping, and the listening equipment, like the the headphones that we use, that is Shravana. So if your headphones are getting spoiled every now and then, or you buy an equipment and suddenly it gets into something and they fail, they are irreparable. It means that your Shravana has some problems. These are all like when you get some disease, there will be symptoms. These are kind of symptoms wherein you can identify what actually is wrong. So these keep giving you indications of what actually is going wrong. So one is your listening equipment gets spoiled every now and then. Uh, Sometimes your car tires get often punctured. I've not written this here. I would cover this in the second round of classes. Maybe car tires very often they get punctured, or you have a very good car but you do not know when it is going to stop. It is going to suddenly have a breakdown and you're standing on the roads. Okay, these are a few more things, because this nakshatra is also ruled by the Vahana of the Vishnu, that is the Garuda. Okay, this man, the Garuda is here. He is the Vahana of the Vishnu. He is the car of the Vishnu on which Vishnu is going to sit and he is going to travel. Okay, so the car giving some problems here and there, and they actually trigger something. Okay, with that symptom, everything gets triggered. All right. Then you have a foundation about is seeking. So the person is actually trying to learn something or seek something. He does not have something. Maybe the seeking can be anything, maybe material in case of money. It can be a case of spirituality. It can be a case of learning something or possessing, having the need to possess something which he currently does not have. And he's trying to get that to him. Okay, the foundation below is he's trying to understand, if I have to seek it, what are all the paths available for it? Okay, so let me suppose you want to learn astrology. Then you would find there are 5 or 6 ways in which this kind of an astrology can be learned. You're going to venture into all of those paths a little bit. So maybe try a couple of classes, maybe hear a couple of videos, and then come, do something, maybe learn from a guru, buy a few books. You would try to do everything in all those directions. And you will actually finally settle down to one thing which actually makes more sense for you, depending on the kind of thing which you are comfortable with. Okay. All right. The Shakti is Samhanana Shakti. Okay. It is the power to connect, bring together. So as I said in the previous nakshatra of the Uttarashadha, all the all the devatas or the devas came together. However, they were identifying themselves separately. Indra came and said, "Look, I am Indra." Agni came and said, "Look, I am Agni." This way, all the 33 gods stood in front of Vishnu and started describing the problem. Vishnu united all of them into one, and it was when everybody united, it was the Vishnu himself. Okay. See, these things are difficult to contemplate when you're trying to look at it from a very logical angle or the tarka. You may have to understand this from a higher viewpoint. That is when these are going to sit in front of, they're going to sit into your brain. Otherwise, they'll fly off. Okay. There are several Puranic stories available. One is the Vishnu's avatars. You can take any of the avatars. What did Vishnu do? You take Ramayana. What did Vishnu do? You take, any of the avatars for that matter. Maybe the Kurma avatara, Narsimha avatara. What did Vishnu do? Vishnu always tried to help people. He never did anything for his own self. He always did it for the devatas. He is a Indra Pakshapata. That means somebody who is biased towards the gods. He has openly declared in front of everyone that I do not like Rakshasas. I only like the devatas. Okay. Carefully understand or everybody knows this because this man Shankara or the Rudra is called as Bhola Shankara. Everybody calls him Bhola Shankar, hey Bholenath. Why do we call him like that? Because he is not going to look at the person, is he a Deva, is he a Rakshasa, or is he a Manushya? Okay, the same applies for Brahma as well. Because these Rakshasas, right? You take the case of Ravanasura, or you take the case of any of the Rakshasas, when they get into tapas, okay, they are going to pray, they are going to make the tapas or do the tapas for Brahma or Rudra because they know that they are bholes. They are going to give me whatever I'm going to ask for. Okay, Vishnu is the only man who is biased and is going to give only if I deserve it. Okay, so do not think bias is a bad thing. Most of the times, bias is a good thing because these people understand the patrata. Patrata means, does he deserve this? Okay, Shravana is a person who is going to give away something only if the person deserves it. Otherwise, if something is being given just for free, Shravana is actually going to feel very bad for it. Look, a lot of people are trying to get this, but they don't deserve it. Okay, this is one more thing uh, as an attribute or as a trait that you can look at in this nakshatra. Then you have the mantra Vishnu Shronaha Pruchamanah Parastat Pantha Avastat. For the English, it is here Vishnu Shronah Pruchamanah Parastat Pantha Avastat. So Vishnu is the person who is going to expand himself constantly. Even in the recent times, people have understood that our universe is not stable. It is constantly expanding. It is throwing away all the planets and all the celestial bodies farther and farther and farther because the universe is constantly expanding. Our rishis knew this long back and they said that as expanding is called as Vishnu. So Vishnu is a person who is trying to constantly expand. So the person is going to constantly expand in whatever his pursuits are or whatever he is trying to pursue. If he is in a career, he's going to expand in that career. If he is in an astrology thing, is going to expand himself in the astrology. If he is in a spirituality, is going to expand his spiritual pursuit. If he is in alcohol, he is going to expand his alcohol attributes. If he is in drugs, then he is going to go bad further into drugs. So, what is very carefully we have to understand is not getting indulged into bad things with Shravana operating. Okay, this is very, very important. Then comes the word Shrona. Shrona would mean somebody who is limping while he is walking because he has a lot of fat across his belly, okay, and a little bit in his thighs. So somebody who is not able to walk properly because he's like a kubja. If you understand how Vinayaka looks like, Vamana almost looks like that. However, he is not depicted with that fat belly. He has considerable belly, in fact. Okay, so this person, the native of Shravana, is going to limp a bit, and at least in the second half of the life, has some difficulties in walking, or he is constantly walking. Okay, every day the person walks a little bit, that is Shravana, or he has completely given up walking because he's not able to do so. Okay, and then uh, and the person wants to listen. This person is a very good listener. He listens up to everything, and while he is listening, he is asking a lot of questions. He keeps asking, okay, let's suppose you have a CEO, right? You have a CEO in the organization. If that person happens to be a Shravana, it's a blessing because the CEO is going to take opinions from everyone who worked on a task, seeks feedback. Based on the feedback given by everyone, this person is going to devise a plan or a strategy or something wherein the company is going further ahead. Okay, this can happen even at home as well. So you can just apply the same thing on the home level, wherein the father is a Shravana or a mother is a Shravana. So she or he is going to take opinions from everyone and then tries to understand what the progress is and then progresses further by deciding the pantha. Pantha means the marga, the way is called as pantha. Then is pruchyamana. Pruchyamana means asking question. Puchna is Hindi, right? Pucho. Pruchha, from where the pucho came. So simpler version is a pucho. Sanskrit version is pruchha. So somebody who is asking questions and somebody who is asking, are you, जैसे मिलते हैं लोग कहते हैं ना आप कैसे हैं, so that is the first question. So greeting someone, saying hello to someone, asking if they are good, because in the Indian languages, "aap kaise hain" is the first thing people would ask. Same is in the case of English, "how are you?" Okay, in usually in olden times, people would say, I hope that you are good" is the first line they would use. Okay, so these are the things that the person is going to ask first, and then delve into, what happened last time, what they have discussed last time, and what is the progress. The person is carefully listening and asking a few questions to understand what is the progress from each of the teammates, and then trying to build a plan, and then further goes ahead. Like the Indra, the Devatas, when they walked up to Vishnu, Vishnu carefully, listened to whatever each of the god had to say or the Deva had to say about the Rakshasa that is actually giving him a trouble. It could be a Ravana or it could be anybody else. So Vishnu patiently heard everything, asked a few questions, what happened there and what happened here. It is not that he does not know. However, it's the job of the leader to actually make the people who are going to the field, to make them, aware that, look, why am I asking this question is because this is interconnected. So he keeps asking these questions, make them aware that these are the questions that one has to understand to devise a strategy. Okay, so he is going to train them on strategy making and then follow a path for success. Okay. So the good thing about this nakshatra is that despite there are some adversities, there are setbacks in life, the person is actually making some good progress because the person knows what has to be done. Okay. And he's clearly devising a strategy based on data available. No assumptions are made here. Okay, there are no assumptions clearly because it's a practical star. Vishnu is, Shravana falls inside Saturnine Rashi. This is the first star wherein all the four padas of the nakshatra are falling here. So this person is more practical oriented. He is based on data. He is not making any assumptions. Okay, assumptions is what he dislikes. And then Vishnu is a person who does not like criticism. Okay, because when Ravana or Hiranyakashipa, when they walked up to the heaven and to the Vishnu Loka, they've asked, "Where is Vishnu?" Vishnu actually did not give him darshan. Vishnu did not appear in front of Ravana or Hiranyakashipa. As Vishnu, never they could see, I mean, neither the Hiranyakashipa nor the Ravana could see Vishnu. They could only see the avatara. Like Narasimha was seen by Hiranyakashipa and Rama was seen by Ravana. Okay. Why is that? Is because Vishnu dislikes criticism. He does not like to be criticized. Okay. So the native does not like uh, damning the individual. He would not like criticism to a place wherein you're damning the person. Okay, don't take it in the wrong sense. There is no better word for this. So there would be some people who would keep cribbing for everything, right? These people dislike them. The Shravana people dislike them. Why are you cribbing? You just tell me what exactly do you want and keep moving. If it's possible, I would do. Otherwise, don't keep cribbing and don't keep cursing me Look, you can't do, you have not done this to me, all that stuff. I mean, they dislike. Okay. So what they do is they do not get into an argument to the maximum possible extent. What they would do is they would calmly walk out of the scene. They would not appear in front of them at all. So a meeting is being called or a celebration is being held, anything of that sort. If Vishnu is, I mean, Shravana is invited, he would ensure that he would not get to see those critics. So either he would leave early from the celebration, he would come, say hi, hello, and then move early out of the celebration. By the time this critic walks in, he's already out, or he would not even go there. Okay, because he does not like to face those criticism, and he thinks he has a lot of negative feelings. Why I should be listening to all that negativity? Let me not listen to negativity. Let me be on the positive side. I'm an arrow. I can only go forward. I'm not something like a ball or something. I do not want to hit to a wall and come back. Okay, I'm an arrow. I have to keep going. I cannot keep listening to this negative. All right. Then Vyasa is a form of Vishnu because we say Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnu. This comes up in Vishnu Sahasranama. So Vyasa is the person who gave all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, and all the Puranas. So this man understands all the literature, has a good Vak Suddhi and Vak Siddhi as well. So if he can keep his Vak good, that means if he talks good, if he is not going to use cuss words, if he is keeping his mouth clean, okay, mouth clean in the sense not on the literal side, but not giving cuss words to people, keeping morals, ethics while talking. If he can hold on to good words, then it is going to lead to Vaksuddhi first, and then further on, it is going to lead to with japa or things like that. He can even reach to the level of Vaksiddhi. Vaksiddhi means if he utters something out, God is going to make it a truth. Okay. Um, then we have, mm, okay, so Vishnu did not work at his place, at his home. Vishnu, everybody knows that Vishnu has a Palasamudra. I mean, Vishnu resides in Kshirasagara and on the Adisesha. So whenever he had some work to be done, he always had to take a form, walk up, I mean, travel to some place like Earth, do the job and go back, right? So it means that the person's workplace is not in the place where he is born. So the person travels to a different place. Okay. Then bias is one thing. Okay, I would tell you, do not think bias as a bad thing. Bias is always good thing. Okay, if a person is extremely unbiased, then you have more problems. Okay, a biased person from the astrological point of view, a biased person is much better because this person is going to help only people who deserve that help. Okay, an unbiased person like the Rudra or the Brahma, that for that matter, Arudra. Okay, Arudra does not look at, uh, you know, mm, I'll give you an example so it will be more easier. A friend came up. Okay, there is a case wherein a friend came up to Arudra and he asked for money. Okay, he took like 10,000 rupees just for the sake of a number. Okay, 10,000 rupees. He came back after 6 months and said, "Look, I cannot return your money, okay, because I'm not doing that great. I need 20,000 more." Okay. What Arudra does is, okay, he came up to me, uh, fine, okay, take this 20,000 as well. Okay. He'll keep coming back and forth, gaining more money from the Rudra, okay, or the Arudra. Whereas in case of this man, okay, he is pretty clear. So what he would say is, I'll definitely give you, but you tell me or describe why you are not able to repay me because you told me you're going to repay me by this time. You did not do so. Can you please describe what actually went wrong? Maybe I can help you on that front. So you can repay me that 10,000 and I'll also pay you this 10,000 more. So if the person, the other side of the person is a victim man, if he's trying to play games around, then he would say goodbye to him and may not ask him again. Whereas in case of an Arudra, he would keep coming back and forth and he would keep asking money. Okay. So, uh, I mean, bias would not mean that he's not donating. Okay. These are extremely charitable people. They donate very well. However, the bias would mean the patrata or how much does the person deserve? Only that much they would do. All right. Carefully listening is one more trait. Okay, on the spouse thing or on the marriage thing, they have a very good devout spouse. However, there is one attribute of the spouse which the person may not, which the native may not like about. Okay, so the seventh connections happen. So there's one thing the person would keep complaining about. Look, everything is right about my wife or my husband, but this particular thing there is, I do not know, somehow this area is not very good at, and they understand it very well. Okay, and they keep complaining only on that 1% thing because whenever they talk about their spouse, maybe that's the first thing that comes up to their mind. They'll still try to be diplomatic based on the other combinations, but if they are candid based on what you can see, like if they are more connected to Arudras, then they can be more candid, more expressive, not hiding anything. Or if they are onto the Anuradha side, maybe they are concealing a lot of information. So based on those things, these people may sometimes insult the spouse just for the sake of that one attribute which they do not like. All the other 99% is fine. However, this is still a very soft nakshatra, so not very fighting attitude you would see, because this is based mostly on the listening and less of talking. Not much of talking here. So as I said, Vamana, King Bali, and Sukracharya. This is the story. So it's just the same story I have used here. I've put here. So when Vamana came up to Bali, when Bali said, Sukracharya, Guru, I cannot listen to you. I have to give away whatever the man is asking for. Even then, what Sukracharya did was, Sukracharya got into the pot from where the water is actually, given to before the dana. So whenever donation was happening in those days, even now, when you're giving something as a donation, people would use water that flows from the donor's hands into the person who is receiving it. So the Sukracharya went into the water, from where the outflow of the water comes. He went in there and he actually packed up the whole thing and he sat there. Okay, so what Vamana did is he used a blade of grass and tried to clear off the inlet or the outlet of the water. So when Vishnu or the Vamana did that, Sukracharya lost one of the eyes. So there can be problems with eyes, okay, eyesight, or there can be problems with walking, as I said, for somebody who is not able to walk so much. These are the two things that you can see in case of Shravan. However, how are we going to decide if there is a severe problem with the eye or anything? The more the number of nakshatras, the cusp and the dispositor and the Lord are getting connected to, more is the likeliness of having this. Like, for the teeth thing, there will be three or four nakshatras connected to teeth. For legs, there are three or four nakshatras connected to legs. So, depending on how many are connected to the same thing, you can say, okay, the cusp is connected to Bharani, and then the Lord is in, I don't know, uh, maybe the Lord is in Revati, and then this star as well. So three things we look at, right? One is cusp, one is Lord, the other one is dispositor. So if all three are showing there is a poor walking thing, it means that the person is not able to walk. Maybe he is paralyzed. Okay. and also look at the planets. We also look at the conjunctions based on which we also will arrive at is it a leg thing or is it an eye thing? Okay. So be a little patient. You will get to understand everything. It takes some time for actually for you to get to that level. If already people are that level, that is very good. Maybe that will add up. This will add up to your knowledge. Okay. So Vamana is the only avatar wherein the Bali, the opponent is not killed. So Bali right now, what people even today, what people think in the Kerala is Bali keeps coming back every year on the Onam day. Okay, so they celebrate Onam for the return of Bali and Vishnu both. So the so what happens in this case is with Shravana is the person is not just winning, but if he wins, he's actually going to unite the other territory also into him. So this is actually useful for businesses where acquisitions are done, right? They are going to pursue some acquisition. So if the person is trying to sell it, they'll sell it to Shravana. If not, the person is going to plead and actually make a joint venture, acquisition, all this stuff. Actually, what happens is Shravana expands to an extent where there is no opposition at all, or where everywhere Shravana is only there. Okay. Garuda is the vehicle of Vishnu. So as I said, so problems with vehicles, sometimes mostly with the tire punctures, can be sometimes on the battery side as well, depending on planets. Okay, when you add up Mars there, then you have issues of batteries. The car battery dies off pretty quickly. Recently, a lady phoned, got some consultation from me after a few things, a few checkings and everything. The first thing I asked was, did your car break down at some place? Or the lady actually asked for a consultation on health. Okay, she saw the health video which we did a few weeks back, and she said, "Look, I have some health issue, and I don't know what to do." And they're not able to diagnose. She lives in the US, so the doctors gave her a wrong medication. She's not able to walk and stuff like that. So it's a Gemini Lagna. The sixth lord, Gemini Lagna, sixth lord is Mars, sixth, 11th lord, both would show disease. Okay, sixth, 11th lord is in Shravana, exalted Mars. Okay, so that is why I keep saying, and also the Lagna lord Mercury is there in the same place. Okay, I think it is an Uttarashadha, I believe, as far as I remember. So the first question I asked her was, do you remember that your car broke down? Mm, Maybe when you went out of home, you always thought your car is good. But after having reached a place from where you have to come back the same day, your car broke down and you could not come back from there. Maybe you had to call up someone picked you up, and ultimately what you found is the car could not move. Maybe got some help from somewhere, fixed the car, and then only you got it back home. Possibly either the tire is gone or the battery is gone. So she said, "Look, I don't remember that. Maybe I have to check." So I told her, you must have replaced the battery. Do you remember your battery replacement? Yes, I did a replacement of the battery. After the replacement of the battery, you never moved out of your home because you're not able to walk. That is what is the kind of ailment that she has, that she's not able to walk. And she said, yes, that is almost right. But she never knew that these two things are interconnected. Okay. So this is the kind of a symptom. So as I said, symptoms are a few things that you can identify. Then I said, look, you must be having these things at the place you're sitting. So she had a lot of batteries, used batteries, unused batteries, all in the southern direction because the Mars is actually getting a lot of fuel. And because he's the sixth lord in the eighth house, so sixth lord is gaining more and more fuel from the batteries she's supplying. So she kept about 200 batteries with her. All of them are used, and maybe she bought about 200, 300 batteries that we use in the the pen cells or the pencil cells that we use in the remote controls, right? In India, I'm not very sure if they're used in the US. I think they must be because that's why she lives in the US. So, so those batteries were in the southern direction in the place where she actually lives. So I said, remove all those batteries. Only keep only those that are needed, not the ones which are used right now. Maybe why do you buy so many batteries when you're not using them right now? So I gave her a couple of remedies. It's about 3-4 weeks ago. Okay. Why I'm sharing this is because a lot of people think exalted planets are very good, debilitated planets are very bad. I keep emphasizing this in every class, because I want to bust this myth. Do not think exalted planets are always good. There can be something wrong with even with the exalted planet. Okay, because it's the sixth lord. So always look at what the lord is. Okay, what lord is it? The sixth lord being in the eighth house exalted. What is that yoga? I don't know. Some funny yoga. People have made funny names for funny yogas. Those yogas are not going to work like that because those are the Vipreet Raja yoga. Okay, I keep forgetting this line. Vipreet Raj Yoga. These yogas are specifically made for Rajas who were kings when they were actually trying to win over the other kingdom. It is a Vipreet Raj Yoga because it's a success after somebody else's losses. Today, you're not a king. You're just an ordinary human. For you, in the olden days, about 500 years ago, nobody cast horoscopes. No horoscopes existed for common people, only for kings they used to exist. You know why? Because it is not expected of you. You are going to be born in a caste. You have a clear-cut understanding of what has to be done. What is your vritti? Vritti means the occupation. Okay. Your father is a tailor, you are a tailor. Your father is a Brahmin, you are a Brahmin. It's very simple. There's nothing to be, there's nothing very different is going to happen for him. So there were no individual horoscopes then. Only today we have them. Okay. So coming back to the point is, so these are the things that we keep looking for. So do not fall for these Vipreet Raj Yogas and all that stuff. Okay. I keep emphasizing on this. Please don't mind if somebody has Vipreet Raj Yogas. You don't have to have any heartbreak. But these are not the yogas for ordinary people. Unless you are the Prime Minister of India or maybe a Chief Minister at least, that is when maybe there is something that you have to look for. Not even the ministers, I would say. Okay. Okay. Saraswati, she is the god of learning or the goddess of learning rather. So you have to carefully learn whatever you're learning in this nakshatra. So any bad habits are going to constantly expand. Okay. So the native is asking too many questions, especially to learn the subject, which is good. And they get the best clarity of which they're going to devise a plan, which is very good. Okay. There are a lot of good things about this nakshatra. Okay. A few afflictions, few things that can happen to your ears. You have to be careful with your ears. The symptoms that I have just told you, uh, one is on the car thing. The other one is your pods, the ear pods that we use, or the stereo that we are using. Your sound system getting repaired very often. Okay, and you have a speaker at home which does not work, but you're still keeping it. Okay, these are all going to spoil your Shravana. So if let's suppose your Lagna is Libra, and you're keeping a speaker or something which is not working. Okay, it's such a huge magnet. One thing because every speaker has a magnet, huge magnet, which is not working. When you switch on the speaker is not working. Throw out such kind of stuff. Do not keep them at your home. If it's a Libra Lagna, for example, you keep that at home. You do not have mental peace because the fourth house is ruled by mental peace. Okay, your mental peace is ruled by fourth house. You have such a speaker at home, it means that you're only spoiling your own peace. Get this away, throw it in the bin. It's of no use. A lot of people have the habit of keeping unwanted things at home. कभी काम आएंगे, कोई काम नहीं आएगा वो, नुकसान पहुंचाएगा. Just get them away. All right. Native needs to like useful people and make progress in life. This is what I said. Shravana does not want to meet people who are negative. Okay. Negativity is what Shravana avoids. They want to be in the company of positive people, which is a good thing. Okay, but sometimes you have to, take everything with a pinch of salt, is what our people would say. So if there are a few set, if you are there are a few setbacks, or what is that called exactly as, there are a few things that you have to learn beforehand before something gets implemented, right? Then they should be open for that debate. So maybe sometimes these people are not open for such things, because they do not want to hear that negative side of it. So unless they understand the negative side of it, it's difficult for you to actually prosper. However, even though they contemplate, they understand, they're not going to reveal that they understood that side of it. Even they can be like that. That depends on the kind of planets that you have in the Shravana, like the matured planets like Jupiter, Saturn, uh, Sun. These are the planets who are matured planets. So they understand it and they're not in a hurry. Okay, if it's a Mars, it's in a hurry thing, because Mars is always in a hurry. Moon is always in a hurry. He's trying to take decisions pretty fast. Okay, hurriedly making decisions. So somebody has Moon as well in Shravana, Lagna as well in Shravana. He's not going to look at all onto the negative side of it, because he thinks negativity is bad. So let me not even understand what can go wrong if I'm trying to take this plan and implement it, which is very important at the strategy level, because you need to understand what can fail my strategy. Okay. So when you put a planet inside the nakshatra, everything is going to change. Okay, do not think that everything is going to be the same. I mean to say, because we're learning it from the viewpoint of the lordships, right? Seventh lord dispositor being in Shravana. Okay, if the seventh lord dispositor is Moon, it's a different result. If it's Mars, it's a different result. If it's Jupiter, it's completely different result. Okay, so there will be a few variations, but yes, you have to learn only one by one. You cannot learn everything in one go. So this is half of the prediction. The other half you would understand eventually once we start planets. And even further, you will understand when you understand conjunctions. So my advice to you is, we are going in the right direction. Have some patience. Have an excellent understanding of these base level things. These are base level LKG level things which one has to be very clear with. That is when go for yogas. Blindly do not read yogas. They are only going to spoil you. Okay, and forget all these. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry, I had to take that call. Okay, so one has to look at those opinions and try to understand. So somebody has a moon in Shravana, and not any of the bigger planets like the Saturn or the Jupiter or the Sun is influencing. You tell him, look, always have an understanding even of the negative side as well. So then only you take a decision. Don't be in hurry. Okay. Then you have the limping thing, which I talked about, Vedas and scriptures, which we talked about. Then the native is usually wealthy, prosperous, because it's Vishnu, right? So the person has Lakshmi beside him. So either the spouse is working for him. That is why uh, there is riches. The riches does not mean that there are financial problems or anything. There can be financial problems. Even if you ask Tata, Birla, or the Reliance fellow, even they also have financial problems. So do not think riches would mean there would be an ideal place where you don't have any financial problem. हर कोई साईं बाबा का मूवी देखी है उसने बताया कि भैया when Sai Baba was asked when is the person going to live happily, only after death. Okay, so do not think anything is going to give you something which is wherein you don't have to worry at all. All through the life, people are always worried. There is no one in this world who is not having any worry. Okay, it is not that you people do not know this, but it is my duty to tell you that thing. Okay. Native is wealthy, prosperous, but there are challenges. Okay, despite all that, he is prospering well. He's a humanitarian. He likes to help others. Okay, excessive helping, etc. If this person does not understand why he is donating, what he is donating, like the Bali did. Bali tried to give 3 steps, despite he went against the advice of his own guru. So going against the advice of gurus, learned people, such things are not good. And also, this man tries to correct the mistakes of others. Whenever Rudra or Vishiva or the Brahma gave away too many, boons to Ravana or the Hiranyakashipa, because Hiranyakashipa is a typical example wherein the person almost got immortality because he could not be killed in the day, not in the night, not by something living, not by something dead. So, the Vishnu had to take care of all these things, whatever boons he received, and he had to kill him. Okay. So the person Shravana is actually trying to accommodate everything and then make a strategy around it. You know how careful the Shravana has to be. Okay, that is how they are, that much capable they are. They can devise something around all that. So, not getting into the overwhelming things. Sometimes these people are too much of overwhelmed for a victory or something, right? They get a lot of overwhelmed thing because once the Hiranyakashipa got killed, right? Narasimha was constantly in the ugratva, where he could not control his anger. Even anger is also a kind of overwhelming thing because the person is trying to express too much with that success. Okay, that can be one more thing which the person has to take care of. Okay, let's look at the various houses. So how do we look at the house thing is we always look at the dispositor of a house lord. So if you want to know about the theme of the total life theme of a person, what you just do is look at the Lagna cusp and the Lagna Lord dispositor both together with just 10% of attributes for the Lagna Lord. So Lagna Lord is not very important. Lagna Lord's Lord or the place where the Lagna Lord's Lord is sitting, that nakshatra is the most important one. Okay. Once we finish all these nakshatras, right, we will do a lot of examples. So whoever thinks that not enough examples are being done, uh, I'm giving you a heads up. For sure, we will do 2 hours of examples, maybe 15, 20 minutes, one example. So you have enough time to cover. These are like, basics. Unless you know this, it's very difficult to do examples. That's why I'm not teaching examples. Okay. So first, house connections will give you a focus on all the purusharthas. Somebody wants to get the dharma, the artha, the kama, and the moksha. All four the person is capable of, like the Rudra we talked about, right? Even the Rudra is capable of getting all the purusharthas because Rudra is one of the gods of the Trinity. right? So Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, of which Arudra is one, Rohini is the other one, third is this one. So these three nakshatras will be constantly focused on all the Purusharthas, of which Rudra and Vishnu or the Shravana both are even more capable than the Prajapati or the Rohini. Okay. So the native may be walking or has given up walking because he cannot walk. Or if he has if it has extreme afflictions, like I said, one Lagna is in Bharani, third pada, and then you have Shravana, the Lagna Lord. Okay, I'll give you a classic example. Okay. Uh, Let us suppose Lagna is in the Bharani. Wow, what an example I got in brain. I don't know if this exists or not, but this is something that just came up to my mind. So Lagna Lord falls in Shravana. Wow, wow, exalted. So people would be clapping. Then you have the Saturn. Okay, Saturn. Let us suppose is also there. Okay, this person can have may have met with a accident and he's paralyzed. Even that can happen. Okay, so do not think merely having Saturn in the own sign and then what is that? You have exalted Mars, so the person is definitely going to go good only. Not always this is true. Be careful with while making such predictions. Okay, they are only going to fail you. Okay, if you want to pass, you have to look at everything from the nakshatra point of view. Okay. Even if it is in Dhanishta, even if the Saturn is in Dhanishta, then also this can happen. Okay. We have not covered Dhanishta as yet. So once that is done, we will talk about that also. Okay. Extremely concerned with his reputation. So this man, he's so concerned that he will not have accounts in social media. He will not post any photos on the social media. He doesn't want to be, known by a lot of people. I don't want to post any of my photos on the social media. Why should somebody see me? Okay, so I don't like it. Uh, Loss of lands or gain of lands based on the kind of conduct the person is keeping. Okay. Most importantly, he has to listen to the father or the guru. If somebody has issues with the father or the father has died very early in life, okay, that is when the downfall of the person may start because father is the Prathama Guru. So if the father has already died, it means that this is a downfalling horoscope, especially for Shravan. Tries to correct. If somebody has these combinations, right, there can be a lot of things that can cancel what I am saying as a negative side. Okay, so don't be worried. Oh, my father is already gone. I'm a Shravana Nakshatra, so I'm only seeing downfall. So I'll go and give up my life. Don't come to such fast conclusions. There can be 10 more things that can cancel out what I just said. So merely just with just one planet or one nakshatra, don't make up for the whole thing. That is the wrong way of looking at it. Okay, so does not like criticism, calmly leaves the scene. Biased person helps his own people, may deceive or fight others for help. Okay, so here also, okay, do not think this is a bad trait. This is an important, very good trait. Let us suppose you are a sales manager in a company. You have 10 people team. Okay, what is your job? Your job is to protect your people and sell your product. Or would you keep bothering, oh no, all the other people will lose business. Let me not do any business. Would you do that? No, right? Your job as a sales manager is to help your people destroy the other people. It should not be like Bharani, wherein, if I am going to destroy this person, then, how he's going to live. It should not be your botheration. Your botheration should be is to secure business. If you're securing business, obviously the other opponent is going to lose the business, right? You cannot be thinking like Bharani, wherein, if I get the business, then the other person is going to lose. What happens with that? There is indecisiveness. You cannot move forward. Okay. So instead, having some, bias is important. Native behaves like a matured person since childhood. Okay. And he may also, by looks, also, this person can be a little maturely looking for his age. Okay, because it's a Saturnine nakshatra, right? The whole four padas are here. So the person may look very mature than what his age is, or he can also be looking like a very young person of than what his real age is, because Vishnu came like a dwarf, a small boy, and he grew like a giant. Okay, excellent listening skills, listens to everyone and makes a decision if required. If no decision is required, he will keep quiet. Okay. Interest in listening to recorded music. So this person keeps listening to something, maybe recorded music, recorded videos, or maybe the mostly on the hearing. Okay, on the hearing he's concentrating. Personal headphones, nobody else would use those headphones. It's for just for that person. Okay, or a stereo or a music stereo or something that is exclusively for this man. This is more true if both the Dhanishta and Shravana both are active. Like you have Lagna in Shravana and Lagna Lord in Dhanishta. Okay, such things. Then you have more likely that you have exclusive stereos or exclusive TVs. Only you will watch. Nobody else would watch that or would hear to that. Okay, constantly expanding his foothold either in the business or in a pastime or a music or whatever the person is pursuing. Okay, always go back to the website, have a clear understanding of what I try to write here, maybe read out the whole thing once, then it will be more and more clearer. Okay. Second house, sharing resources only with his people, because Vishnu does not like to share the resources with others. When Vishnu came as a Mohini avatara, he did not give the Amrita to the Rakshasas. He denied Amrita to Rakshasas and he gave it only to the Devatas. Okay. I mean, do not think this is a bad thing. Once again, I emphasize on this. This may be required at that point in time. If those people do not deserve it, then these people are very clear on that. They'll put their foot down and say, look, they do not deserve this. We cannot do this to them. Okay. Sometimes these people are interested in gossips. They may want to hear gossips, especially if the third house afflictions are there. So, if let us suppose third house is afflicted with the eighth lord, Saturn, Mars, also becoming the eighth lord, 12th lord, sixth lord stuff. Okay, all this may make him somebody who is interested in gossips. Okay, and you have excellent listening skills with the third house connections. Can be having issues with the ears. What I've seen issues with the ears is I've seen it in two cases. One is third house connection, eighth house connection as well. Most importantly, having Ketu there. Okay, because it's a Saturnine sign. Ketu would be okay in any of the signs, because I do not want to generalize saying, look, in the Saturnine sign, Ketu is bad. However, particularly if you see this nakshatra, when the Lingodbhava happened, right? If you look at the Linga Purana, wherein the Shiva appeared as a column of light, these Brahma and Vishnu were actually trying to find out the ends of where the Linga started. So Brahma went upwards and Vishnu went downwards. So Ketu is the planet which is actually trying to travel upwards, right? Because it does not have a head. And Ketu is focused on spirituality, does not have a head. So this particular thing, what you can say is if you see Ketu or sometimes Mars Ketu get together, then you have some issues with the ears. If it's Ketu in the third house, he's got some hearing deficiency. He would have those implants or hearing implants or something of that sort. Eighth house, it may show wherein there is pus forming in the ears, or maybe some liquid coming out, oozing out, all that. Okay, some infections in the ears and etc. All this stuff. Okay, fourth house, the mother has the characteristics of what we have seen in the first house thing. So the native is, one thing I'm not very sure I said here. First house is that the person is not placed in the same country. He is actually living elsewhere. I mean, living in a foreign land. Okay, and fourth house can have the person owns large homes. He wants to own a large home or already owns a large home, or maybe owns three homes. Okay, because it's three steps, right? Vamana has taken three steps. So three homes. Or the native owns a large vehicle. Okay. Uh, Fifth house, the children may be living abroad, children may be very good listeners and all that. And then you have this is a neutral nakshatra for affairs, because fifth house can also deal with affairs. This is lot neutral. So from here, either there can be affair, there cannot be affair. But just be careful. Do not peep into somebody else's affairs unless it is very required, or some decision has to be made over. Please do not make liberal comments on other people's private lives, which is not good as an astrologer. So unless the person is asking for or insisting, then also please do not say there is, you have your wife, your husband has an affair or a wife has an affair, because most of the times it is just a suspicion. I mean, do not try to capitalize on such things. So if your comment is going to ease out the situation, then only try to help them out. Otherwise, you just say there's nothing like that. There's nothing wrong in saying sometimes a false statement. Okay. Instead of just like that claiming something without any knowledge. If you do not know, it is better to say, I do not see anything of that sort. It is better, because all these things will add up onto the astrologer's karma, and they all can hit back one day. So just be careful when you're making predictions. Sixth house, the native's focus is on helping others. Okay. What I have seen with sixth house connections is lawyers. Okay, a lot of lawyers are connected to the sixth house. I have not written it here. Somehow I missed it. But what I see is sixth house connections has given lawyers, because the lawyers are going to listen, or judges, right? Judges are going to listen both the sides and then take a decision, right? So he can be a judge or a lawyer, or a lawyer who is willing to become a judge in the future, aspiring to become a judge. Then is the spouse. The spouse is generally very helpful, as I said, and there's a fixed opinion about the spouse on one particular aspect of the spouse, which is a little difficult for the native to change. The person will keep cribbing on that one particular issue. Okay, the spouse travels to earn money. The native is settled abroad because the spouse had to travel. They both travel together. Okay, or maybe the spouse moved a little ahead, maybe 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year or so. He got settled there. Then he called his native. Eighth house issues with eyes, especially if the eighth, 10th lords are connected. Okay, so 10th lord is the eyesight. Okay, it's very easy why 10th lord is the eyesight, because in the 10th house, uh, the the directional strength happens for the fire planets. Okay, both the Mars and the Sun would get directional strength in the 10th house. Okay, and when it is noon, 12 o'clock or 12:30 or 1 o'clock at a particular local, on the local time, you have the Sun in the 10th house. So Sun is very, very bright when he is in the 10th house. So if you want to see, you need a bright light. You just merely do not, if you have eyes and there is all darkness, can you see? You cannot, right? So for your eyes to work, you need light. Light comes from the 10th house. So if your 10th house gets connected to the 8th house or the 3rd house, why 3rd house? Because 3rd house is the 8th from the 8th. So you always look at from the Lagna and from the moon, from both the places. If your 10th lord gets into the 8th or your 10th lord gets into the third, or 10th, 8th lords conjunct, or 10th lord dispositor is in the eighth, or 10th lord dispositor in the third, or the third lord dispositor in the 10th, you have to make combinations. These are all the combinations that you have to make from both the moon and the lagna. If both are afflicted, it means that there is a serious enough, power on the eyes. I mean, you are wearing spectacles with power. If these are even furthermore afflicted, it means that the vision is lost. Okay. If they are furthermore afflicted, then one of the eyes got plucked out. Okay. These are the things which we will look at it from the conjunctions of the planets, and also we will use the nature of the planets for the extremity, and also look at the nakshatra where these things are happening. Based on that, you can understand what is the level of vision problem. Okay. And then you have the ninth house. Father is a leader. He could be a strategist. He could be leading from behind, because Vishnu always leads from behind. He's only trying to push other people, and he would stay behind. Only the final war Vishnu is going to wage. Okay. Or the father is actually expanding his business constantly, or maybe father is working abroad. Okay. Or the native has actually taken PG education or the postgraduate education in the abroad, and further then on, he actually got settled there. I think I should have mentioned that here in the ninth house, because ninth house also deals with the future. So the person's future starting from the PG or the postgraduate level, because these days most people go for the PG thing. So as I say, keep saying some of these significations I forget while I write. So you have to make them up for yourself. Okay. Native is working abroad. 10th house connections are very good for Shravana because the person is working abroad. The native is a strategist and leads from behind. He puts his team at the front and tries to stand at the back, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes it may be needed, because if the project is successful, all the credit goes to his juniors or the subordinates, which is a very good thing. Okay, he's constantly expanding his business. Okay, the same thing is for the 11th. Elder siblings may have got settled at the in a foreign country, and then you have the native is constantly traveling for the 12th house, maybe living in three cities. So one day he lives in Singapore, the other day he lives in, I don't know, Moscow, or maybe he lives one day in New York. Maybe he keeps shuttling to three cities. Okay, maybe 1 week in Singapore, 1 week elsewhere, 1 week in India. So he keeps moving across three cities. Okay, the native has issues with legs or the eyes. Okay, I think more or less we are done with Shravana. Anybody has any doubts, questions, feedback? I'll be happy to hear those.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Yes, go ahead.
So today's session was also full of amazing insights. I have a few questions and a chart to share.
Okay.
So, sir, one question is regarding you said that you have to throw the unused earphones. So only earphones we have to throw, or also the magnets? Like if my wife has brought some play toy magnets and she has a prominent Shravana. I can see that. And I have while during the lecture, I have thrown her unused earphones which were lying there. So I
Okay.
did that. But do I have to throw the magnets also? Because she has brought the magnets also and she has kept there and she has got ear issues. In her childhood, her father slapped her, and from that time, she has some depleted hearing. I mean, she does. We have to speak a little loudly, or go near to her and then speak in one ear. Else,
Okay.
everything is fine. And her father also. And her father uses that ear machine. Without that, he can't even hear. So that is quite relatable. So
Okay.
wha-
So may I know if it's the Shravana is related to the third house?
fifth house, Saturn Atmakaraka
No, no,
in Shravana.
no, no. You have to say first the Lagna. The Lagna, where is Lagna?
Lag Lagna is uh, Virgo. Wait a
Okay.
minute, let me open the chart. If I have to say the nakshatras also, or Virgo will work.
Uh, I would need the nakshatras too.
Okay. Wait a minute. I will open the chart. Just a minute.
Okay. If it's the fifth house, it's the Bhavat Bhava. So third house from the third house. Okay. Even that works.
Okay, the
However, there will
Lagna is in Hasta Nakshatra, and
right.
Moon is also there. Moon is in Uttar Falguni, and in the fifth house, Saturn is there retro.
Okay. Do you see uh, do you see Mars in the Aquarius? Where do you see the Mars?
Mars
Or
is
the
in ninth house in Taurus and in Nakshatra of Rohini.
where is Ketu?
Ketu is in 10th house in Nakshatra of Mrigashira.
Okay, what I can see is the sixth lord. Okay, the sixth lord is placed in the fifth house. So the problem came from the sixth lord, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so there is so it cannot be repaired. I mean, there is no way you can repair that thing. Am I right?
Yes, it cannot be repaired. That's very correct.
Okay. That is why there is the retrogression of the Saturn. It would say that the sixth lord being in the fifth house, so it cannot be repaired. So the dispositor is also there. Even the cusp
Yes,
is also in the Shravana Nakshatra. Everything falls in the Shravana, so it cannot be repaired.
yes, sir. Exactly. You are correct.
Okay.
And another question I have is why is Ravan done only in Shravana Nakshatra? Yesterday I was going by in my car and I heard it on the radio that the Muhurta has to be in Shravana Nakshatra.
Yeah, that's why I said no yesterday. You have seen Dashara, right? After Dashara, Ravan is Dashahara, because the person who got killed was the Ravana in the Dashahara.
Okay.
Okay,
And
and it falls in the Uttarashadha and the Shravana.
okay.
Uttarashadha is when this man Arjuna came out winning. Okay,
Mhm.
and in the Shravana is when the Ravana got killed. Both would mean Dashara in
Okay. Okay.
different yugas.
Uh, now I get it because in Shravana Ravan actually got killed, so they burned the effigy at that time only.
Correct. Because
Okay.
Shravana happens to be the nakshatra of the Vishnu, so any avatar of Vishnu will take the help or the root thing or the root energy comes from the Shravana.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is from there.
Okay. So there are more things I would like to share about my wife.
Okay, go ahead.
She hates scribbers. You actually pointed it out really beautifully. She is a gem of a listener. Has powerful insights. Like she doesn't read any science related stuff, but whenever I speak about things, she listens very carefully and she gives me insights which even I cannot. And she is not related to science. She is not a mathematician. She is just a happy-go-lucky kind of person. But she is able to give insights like immense knowledgeable people I have seen given. So I don't know from where it comes, but it is really a good trait of her. And she has got hearing issues, I already told. She hates to be criticized. Yes, this is also true. Whenever somebody criticizes her, she just moves away. And whenever I go out with her, I get issues in my cars and tires and all my bikes. And whenever I go alone, I have got never have I ever got
I
any
mean,
issues with my.
there is serious issue of Shravana. Okay, there is look at your south direction. There will be a lot of things which you should not be keeping in the south. Maybe you're keeping a lot of batteries, all that stuff. Okay,
So those magnets also I have to throw.
magnets, batteries, all that stuff. Either at least you throw them away or keep them away, uh, or no, do
Okay.
not put them in the southern direction because Shravana rules that direction.
Yeah, they were in the southern direction, which I threw recently while the
Yeah,
lecture.
I know. That's why the problem is.
And
When you go
she,
along with her, you always have car issues,
yes,
puncture ho jayega, then you will have car battery काम नहीं करेगा, all that stuff. Car will not start. You don't
yes,
know why
yes.
it is not
I've had
starting.
all the issues.
Yeah.
And earlier I never had any issue. I didn't even used to get the service done, and car, bike, everything used to work fine. And now I have to spend more money whenever I go out with on my
And
car
every
tire.
2 years, the battery will go off suddenly. You
And
don't
her
know why it is.
earphones, and her
Hmm.
earphones, they don't last for more than 6 8 months. And my earphones last for 3 years, 2 years, more than that. And
So
she
that
buys
is
the expensive one,
a
and yet,
severe affliction of the Shravana. Maybe you can do the same mantra, which is written here, right? Vishnu Shravana Purchimana. If you believe in mantra stuff, okay?
yeah, yeah, we do believe so. That's
Yeah,
why we are here. She gets tired very easily, and she avoids walking. And she always complain I had to walk like this much, and about that
Mhm.
also. You are right. And another very good example I have of my friend. If you allow to share the chart, I would like to share
Uh,
it.
yeah, keep reading.
Okay. So it is also a Capricorn Lagna, and
Okay,
he has got Jupiter. He has got Lagna in Shravana, and
okay,
Jupiter is sitting in the Lagna. That is also sitting in Shravana. So,
okay,
and the dispositor Saturn, Saturn, the Lord of Capricorn, has gone in Revati. Okay,
okay.
and
Okay.
Jupiter is back in the Lagna. So, he has a very peculiar trait, uh,
Mhm.
which everybody will laugh after
Okay.
listening. Like this guy used to go to whenever we used to go back to our homes from college. This guy used to give money to the beggars, and he was not able to stop until his money from his pocket ran out. And he will call some other friend and ask for some money, and that too in the digital form, so that he couldn't give it to the beggar. And then he used to go home. And I was so amazed, like why a person in his senses would do that, and he cannot stop it. He can't help himself. He avoids having
This
money
is
in.
this is partially Revati trait also. So I think it is in the Revati.
Yes, the Saturn is in the Revati.
So, okay, that is partially Revati trait. So there is an interchange of both these planets.
Yes, but it is also the 12th lord. Will we see that also?
We
The
will see that.
Jupiter. Jupiter.
Yeah,
Jupiter is in Shravana.
that is why there is donation to the beggar, right? Saturn is a beggar.
Yes.
12th house of the
Yeah.
donation.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of the very amazing examples I was able to see. But the things you said about which I related about my wife were also amazing. And one more question. Another example is of my father.
Okay.
He doesn't have any planets or cusp in Shravana Nakshatra, but he is born in the Shravana month, and he always have car issues. Like yesterday also, Shravana Nakshatra was going, and I took him to the hospital. We were returning, and his bike got what do I say? It was not working. It was not starting. And I was so angry with him that why in the world? And he changed the battery yesterday only, and still it was not working. Then I got
So if he is born in the Shravana month, his sun must be in the Aslesha, right? So Aslesha and Shravana are opposites to each other. That is the thing.
yeah, his son is in Australia, and
Mhm.
his cars always have troubles, always. And
Okay.
he somehow he is so stingy with spending money on car and his bike. He doesn't get them repaired periodically. He hates spending money on these repairs, and I have to get it done for him so that they work fine.
Mm.
And
Okay.
one last question, sir. Have these people also got the gift of very soft spoken voice? Because I have seen in all three, four examples I know of Shravana Nakshatra, I have seen this very prominent trait. They have very soft spoken voice.
Yeah, because see, voice, I would always say look at the second house. Okay, if the second house gets connected to Indra traits, okay, wherever we have talked about Indra, if they are connected to Indra, like the Chitra is Indra, Jeshtha is Indra, all these are voices which are, which are having enough sound in them, like how I sound, right? I have the
Mm.
second house cusp in Jeshtha, and my second lord is in Chitra. Okay, so I sound
Okay.
very, very, very bulky, dominative voice is what you might think. Okay, the other way of looking at is like the Shravana. These are very soft voices. Okay,
So you
uh,
sound more authoritative, like you know
yeah,
your
yeah,
stuff, what you are speaking.
yeah.
You're not
Correct.
dominating in any sense.
Okay, fine, fine. Whatever way you want to describe. So, soft voices you can get from Shravana. You can get from what else you can say? Anuradha. You also have soft voices, nice voice. Okay, Anuradha is also one. I mean, there are so many stars. So, second house connections you have to look for.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Sir, just now I got it. No, the thing is, while I'm listening to this class, I got a patient. As I saw the case and I treated her, the patient all of a sudden she started crying and she said that I'm separated from my husband and I'm facing some issues. So I thought of checking her horoscope. So I asked for her date of birth, and
Okay.
her seventh lord, Saturn, is in Shravanam, retrograded Saturn. She belongs to Leo Lagna.
Okay.
Hmm. She complained of
Affair.
her husband is not listening to her.
Okay.
He went off, it seems. He left her, and he's now asking for divorce. If she's not willing for divorce, so he
Yeah.
said, I'll marry another girl and I'll
Just
go off.
just tell
What
me
will
one
you do?
just tell me one thing. Do you have any planets in the seventh house?
No planets in the seventh house. Only
Okay.
Saturn retrograded in sixth house
Okay.
in
The
Shravana.
I understood. Okay. Mm, sure.
My daughter,
Mm,
the thing is, I
mm.
checked her Navamsha, and my doubt is she belongs to Cancer Lagna in Navamsha, with Moon in eighth house, that is in Aquarius. In Vimshottari Dasha, I checked for Utpanna Tara. No, she's undergoing Moon Mahadasha
No,
with
I think
Saturn
you're jumping.
Antardasha.
I think you're jumping guns. You're too fast to go there. Okay.
Okay, okay.
You have seen the woman, right? Okay. Some people
Yes,
might
sir.
be finding it difficult to understand how we are talking about Navamsha here. In the Telugu
Oh,
classes, we talked about Navamsha. Be a little patient. We will talk about Navamsha here as well.
okay, sir.
Let me answer the woman's lady's query. Madam, you have
Okay.
seen that Cancer is the Lagna here. In
No,
the
sir. Lagna is Leo.
in the D9 is Cancer, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so both are royal signs. So does the woman look like a royal
Yes,
girl?
yes, yes, sir. She's big dominative and royal, not like dominative, authoritative wise.
Okay, so she's dressed up well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the two
She's my
traits you have
old
to look.
patient. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
she that is what you have to look up first. Okay, fine. So Utpanna Tara, what dasha was she running?
Moon, sir. Moon Mahadasha.
Okay. Okay. So where is the sun after the moon?
It's in Sun is in Taurus, not Taurus. Aries, sir.
Aries in the Navamsha.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aries in the Navamsha second. Okay. Hmm. Because sun happens to be the second lord in the Navamsha. Both are not very conducive for a happy marriage. Hmm. Moon is in the eighth house, the Navamsha. Okay. So it's not very conducive, but the advantage with Shravana, right? The base level star, when the D1, I mean, had the Saturn not been in retrograde, I would have said divorce will not happen at all. But this divorce is going to take a very long time. It's not going to come very soon because this lady is not going to give the divorce. She will not. She will not
Yes,
come to a mutual consent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She's not willing for divorce.
She wants to drag it. I think there is an
Sir,
affair for the being. The person has an affair. Okay, is that right?
uh,
The
she said
husband
that
has an
he's going to. We don't know, sir. Maybe.
affair. Okay.
Uh,
The husband has an affair.
just now while listening to the class, I got this patient and she complained about it. So I took the date of birth.
Okay. This is because the seventh lord is in the sixth house and the dispositor is also in the sixth house and is also in the retrogression. So it must
Yes,
be
sir.
already 7, 8 years of marriage. How long is the marriage?
Only 1 year, sir. Only 1 year.
1 year. So it will take long time
Okay, sir.
for the divorce.
For divorce also it will take long time, sir.
Long time, yes.
Sir, my doubt is for divorce, should we have to check that variations in Vimshottari Dasha or else normal Janmatara only we
Yes,
have to use?
yes. Variations in Vimshottari. When you're looking at D9 chart, always use variations in the Vimshottari. Only they will work.
Okay, sir. But
If you want to look at
what I
the prosperity also from the D9, if you want to look at money making also from the D9, look at the variation of the D9.
okay, sir.
Without using variation, don't use the D9 Vimshottari.
Yes. So, the thing is, what I observed is for divorce variations, Janmatara is more good, okay, more accurate predictions are coming with Janmatara rather than variations. What I observed.
I
I
don't
observed 4 or 5 charts. That's why I'm telling.
I don't think so. See, at the moment you said Moon Dasha is running, Moon Dasha
Yes,
she got married. It's in the eighth house. It's a straight cut thing, right? You said 1 year only it has been. So Moon is already in the eighth house. It shows that yes, there is problems right from the start of the marriage.
yes, sir.
If
Right
you
from the
use,
start of my.
yeah, if you use Janmatara, it will not show up like that.
Okay, okay.
Okay. If
For
the
divorce
person has
also,
issues, okay, maybe where you are confusing here is if the person has issues in the marriage, when you use the Vimshottari Dasha variation, right from the start, if the person has issues in the marriage, either the second house or the eighth house is operating because that's the break of marriage. Second eighth axis is the break, right? So
yes,
Moon
sir.
Dasha is operating, so there is a break in marriage.
Okay. Okay. Within okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
You have to time it further. You have to time it further.
I have to time it, sir. I
I
thought
believe
what
Moon Saturn is where the problem will, where the divorce will come.
actually now it's Moon Saturn, sir. By 2025 March, it will be over. So I asked her to wait till 2025 March, as she was married last year only. So it's okay for her to wait for 6 more months so that that problem will be solved. I thought so. I just wanted to discuss.
Yeah, maybe possible. But there are issues now and then because the retrograde Saturn is not going to keep quiet. It is going to keep coming back and forth.
Okay, sir. So there are chances of reconciliation for this lady after
They will
2025
keep
March.
reconciling. They'll keep reconciling. They'll keep having this issue once again.
Okay.
It is not going to
Like
end
on.
very soon. It is not going to. She's not going to give up like that. She's only going to
Oh,
drag it.
okay. Okay. So after completion of Moon Dasha, will this
See,
lady's life will be normal?
unless you have the husband's chart as well, right? It is too difficult to say when you're going to get the divorce. Only looking at one chart, it is too difficult because we do
Oh,
not know what the other person is thinking.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
So I'll discuss this chart with you personally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else?
So you mentioned Balaji temple for the remedy.
Yeah.
So which Balaji temple? Tirupati Balaji or
Yes. Tirupati Balaji.
okay, okay.
Okay. If possible, if you can climb the steps, take the steps.
Okay, I'll make her do that.
But you need some good practice of walking. If suddenly she comes up and walks up there, it is difficult. You
Okay.
need, तो जैसे कोई यहाँ जाते हैं क्या वो
Govardhan Parikrama.
नहीं केदारनाथ वगैरह जाते हैं ना लोग कि उसको पहले प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए बोलते हैं 6 महीने 7 महीने लोगों को वॉक करने के लिए कहते हैं उसके बाद जाके आप उतना उतना दूर जा सकते हैं राइट
Oh,
because it's like 2000 steps or so it's not going to be an easy task it will take like 3-4 hours
then it will be really difficult for her.
yeah
She gets tired in 10-20 steps only.
okay maybe at least go and have darshan that's
Yes,
one
I'll definitely take her as we find time.
Okay. Done? Okay. Fine then. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.